Okay, we are live according to this thing. Um, I wanted to. This is like a no script, no notes, no frills video. I've been working all day today on basically unloading the trailer because we now have a trailer. I don't know if you guys know that we have a trailer now. Thanks to our friend Jay Harvey, one of our vendors, comic vendors, who is upgrading his trailer. He needed to haul a car and stuff, and I'm totally new to trailers. That may be surprising, they may not be surprising, but anyway, I'm kind of new to trailers. But last summer in August, I used his trailer to. He helped me move our R2, my R2, in the trailer, and it was like butter. So like I was like, after that, I got to get a trailer, and that's when I got the Cayenne that you guys might see that I have, and then recently I made a deal on getting his trailer from him. So I try to always buy. Um, yes, Doug Jones. Yes, technically, you're right. That is Doug Jones, and we're my friend Kim Crockett. If she's on here or not on here, she might be driving. I have no idea. I just kind of did this video. Anyway, she's working on maybe getting us Doug Jones for a future show. Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming. I wanted to do this while I'm thinking about, and I used to do this just for vendors, but I wanted to do it on my page and in the group and talk a little bit about the show yesterday and then some shows coming up. I'm going to try to do more videos out in general because I just think that I'm not going to share everything. Okay, well, maybe we can't get them. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to just, because again, this is an ad lib, ad hoc, no script video. As far as celebrities go in general, getting celebrities other than Super RetroCon, to me, it just hasn't been really that worth it for me for the show. It doesn't really add. I mean, maybe it adds a coolness to it, but I don't think people, as far as attendance or whatever, it hasn't changed anything. The only thing it's done is cost the show more money. So okay, great. I'm glad that you liked the show yesterday. Real quick, I'm going to talk a little bit about the show yesterday, so you guys know that. You know what? Before I do that, I do want to talk about. I'm going to come back to the show just because I want to talk about schedule, and I want to talk about our giveaway, which I'm going to go ahead and put on the screen. Some of you guys see my games behind me. I'm not really into consoles that much, but although I did get a Vectrex and I have a original Nintendo and I have all these consoles, but I don't really play them. So I play all these games behind you, and then I am pretty into pinball. Actually, you'll see I got Texas Pinball shirt on, which I thought they did a great job on this. They packaged them. I'm going to call the guy and ask him how they did it. And then I got my Jersey Jack Pinball hat on, which I'm trying to find some suppliers for hats so I can get Florida Toy Show's hats like this. So anyway, I'm going to be giving when I say giving away, we're going to be raffling a pinball machine. Some of you guys have seen this, at like Jacksonville show the other day. You may have also seen it at another show that was put on by Barry, the Tampa Comic and Toy Expo. I brought that for people to play. Just to give you guys an idea, what's really cool about this is you see here, this is what they cost. All right, but I'm selling raffle tickets for $10 each, or I'm going to be selling them at the shows. Now, I didn't do this video to sell you guys on this. I just want to let you know that regardless of the amount of tickets that I sell, I'm giving this away on August 13th. August 13th at our Lakeland show, which is our home show. It marks 5 years, the fifth show, not 5 years, but the fifth year that we've done a show in Lakeland since we started. So we've done a show every August, that weekend, second weekend, first or second weekend of August for the last 4 years, since 2019. And to mark that, I'm gonna give away this pinball machine. I'm gonna have some other prizes too for the raffle people. But again, this is a $5,000 machine. It's awesome. The artwork, I mean, I have the non-home editions. I mean, I have all these behind me that you'll see. I'll just go ahead and remove that for a second. You'll see my games behind me. And these are the regular ones with the coin mechs. But I'm personally like looking at this thing and going, I should get one of these because it would go great with a Star Wars collection. It would go great for anybody that is a fan of Star Wars or even pinball. I'm going to go ahead and put it back on the screen here for a minute. And because this is the comic edition. So it's got comic art on it, and the new, like a full size, like regular pin or whatever. I mean, this is a little bit smaller than a coin one that you'd find in a bar. But it still has all the good stuff. In fact, I think this plays better than the $7,000 Star Wars Pro Edition, because the Pro Edition doesn't have metal rails. It's a real big open play field, and then you there isn't a lot to hit. I mean, it's a super deep game. You have to understand the rules to really get any good scores. Whereas this, you can walk up to it and you can enjoy it and everything. And we'll have it at each show coming up. That I'll talk about the schedule. We're gonna have it in July, along with some Little Shop of Games. We got this. We got this from Little Shop of Games in Lutz, up by Wesley Chapel, where I get my other games. But they don't make a comic edition at that regular size one. They don't make the comic edition anymore. So this art is unique to this particular machine. So you can only get the comic book art, which you see Darth Vader over here on this side, and then on the other side you got Boba Fett. It's just a really cool machine, I think. And so I just wanted to share that. So just to give you guys an idea how it works. So I'm gonna so the tickets are, and I got some of the tickets here. So if you buy them online, when you buy a ticket for the show, I'll send you a picture once I get you all registered. I'll send you a picture of your tickets. But it's $10 each, or it's 8 for $50, or 20 for $100. So it goes down to $5 each. And so again, it doesn't matter how many I sold. I haven't sold that many as of right now because I don't think I really understood how to market this, to be honest with you. But we're going to be selling them at the shows, and I'm also going to add in some other cool stuff as like a second and third prize too. Okay. But I just think that, this is something, for me, even though again, it isn't 5 years it is technically the start of the 5th year for us doing these shows. And so I want to mark that with something really cool. And I just think it's a worthwhile thing. The machine is cool, and it's something that people don't normally. I mean, not everybody goes out and buys pinball machines. I mean, I've been lucky. I don't know. I might not say that much, but I've been lucky in that that I've been able to do that through doing this. But okay. Anyway, so that's the pinball machine. Let me now go to. I'm going to go ahead and going to go ahead and let me share something else here. We're going to go over the schedule. And if you hang out, I'm going to still talk about Jacksonville show yesterday. Because I want to point out some things, that happen with the show. Feel free to comment or question. We'll talk about. All right, so coming up in 2 weeks, we're gonna have the Orlando Funko. This may be our last Funko. Just letting you guys know. And the reason why is that there's several reasons why. I'm just gonna say that I really like the VFW, and it has nothing to do with them. As far as them as people, but like Funko, the market is changing, and I think anyway, I'm not a Funko collector here, so I don't know that market as well as let's say Johnny White, and I just think the market is changing for that. And I'm not connected with Funko vendors as much as I would like to be. So as shows come around, as there's more choices, and this is in general, as there are more choices in shows, it becomes harder to fill these events with great vendors. You got to remember that we don't approve everybody. We don't have a huge like artist community that fills our space, and not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that that's not what we've been about. So that narrows the pool of vendors that are available. And they're like, for example, this weekend in Jacksonville, we had a few vendors that would normally set up at our show. They were at Joe Fest, or they were at Spookala, because in their mind, I'm just a 1-day deal in Jacksonville, and they're doing a 3-day show. So, or in Joe Fest, they're going there for more than just, to sell stuff. They're going there as so they can be part of the experience. And I don't take anything away from that. I'm just saying, like, that's not how we started, and that's not I'm trying to do what makes sense, or what I can do, and I'm trying to keep everything affordable for vendors and customers. So I think we're ready in Jacksonville to go to another level, because we are consistent numbers in Jacksonville now. And so the next show that I'd like to do in Jacksonville is a bigger event. I'm looking at taking Super RetroCon to Jacksonville. I just wasn't able to put it together this year. The venue up there, which I've been talking to Prime Osborne, I probably need to look for other venues because the dates aren't available. The working with the management at Prime Osborne is not really that friendly. To give you an example, they charge, so at our normal, and again, I'm not trying to bore you guys, but give you a kind of background of how this works. So normally what happens is they give me a price for the building, for the day or the weekend or whatever, and then they'll give me a price for renting a table, and then I take that and then I map that out, how many tables I can get in there, and then I divide that up, and that's how I come up with a price for the tables. I don't really add a lot, to it. I mean, I there's some play in there for people like that cancel or whatever, but in general, I don't add really a lot. So they wanted, like Prime Osborne wanted to add, like, because my vendors were making a profit or were for profit, they weren't like a charity or something. They wanted to charge like $25 per table for extra rent, versus just the building. It was weird. So that, I think we're past that. That was last year. And then this year, The other thing that happens is on these shows, you rent a building, you put a deposit down, then you pay, let's say 30, 40 days out, you pay the balance or whatever once you have some vendors, once you're closer to the event. That's kind of standard MO. But, some venues, they want all their money like 2-3 months out. And that's kind of how the Prime Osborne works. So you got to have, you can see I'm managing a lot of shows, so I got to manage all of these costs. And I'm trying not to hit up vendors months out. A lot of vendors, there's some vendors that do every show with me. There's some shows that do a few shows. It's a management thing on my end. So, but that being said, I do want to do something bigger in Jacksonville. Unfortunately, I think the management has changed at the Embassy Suites up there. It really is too small for what I'm trying to do. I really need to get a bigger space. My goal with the Embassy Suites was I love the lobby and do the lobby swap. We did have some people come to that. I think we had like 6 or 8 vendors there, and then I think we had about 15 or 20 people that showed up for the lobby swap. And I'm sure that's because I'm charging, but that's just my business model. I'm trying to make sure that, if you come to the lobby swap, you're able to sell for buying a ticket, and then you're able to bring stuff and sell stuff, and then you get early access to the next day is what I was trying to do there. I think that, it will work, but I just think the problem is the next day that the space is just not that big. So I want to find another space this year. So last year, things went pretty smoothly. We had to do some setup of the space. And I'll come back to the schedule here in just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and talk about Jacksonville. This year, we had all kinds of issues in the background, and not issues with vendors or issues with us or whatever. It was the hotel. So when we got there, I usually send a map out, and then it's the same map as last year. So it's not really, shouldn't be rocket science. I took out a few tables actually, but I didn't put chairs on there. So we got there on Saturday night and went in the space, and there's a few tables, and I want to give a shout out to Joey Rulo. Okay, my friend Joey Rulo. He might think I don't know, maybe he doesn't call me a friend. I don't know. Sometimes I don't give him good deals. He gives me great deals on stuff all the time. But anyway, he helped me out. Him and Kim helped me set up the room. There was no chairs in there. Like, I had to pull out chairs from a store. There wasn't any workers there, like to help us set up. When you pay a fee for the building, you pay for the setup, especially with a hotel. What some of you guys might not know, I'm going to assume that you don't know this, but when, you're going to notice that I would rather do a convention center or a fairgrounds than a hotel. Now, certainly a hotel is nicer. The problem with the hotels is they give you a price, and then it's not really the price. It's like if you go and buy a motorcycle or something, and you say, okay, it's $2,000 or $5,000 or whatever it is. And then when they check you out, because this happened to me, I went to buy a scooter one time, and they're like, oh no, it's $3,000. Like, where the hell where'd this $1,000 come from? Like, you agreed to $2,000, and now it's $3,000. It's like, well, there's a service fee in there and plus tax, and that's how the hotels work. Is they charge you one fee, and then it's a service fee, which is supposed to be for them to set it up, of like 26% of that. So if you pay $3,000 for the room for the day, they're charging you another $800 bucks to set it up. And I go in there, and there's nothing. There's like no chairs. There's some tables in there. There was enough tables in there, but we had to move every table in the place. Okay. And I had to bring out all these chairs. And this is, I still got my own stuff to set up, bringing in a pinball machine. We brought R2 and all that stuff. So, I mean, in the morning, I was a little bit off. I wasn't maybe as friendly as I could have been, but it was more of a frustration with the fact that we had to set up the show. And then I never saw an employee. I mean, I saw one lady that set up waters and stuff, but I mean, the show went off very good. The other thing that from a vendor perspective, we did have we have a lot of people that normally would set up, but some of them, some of the people that you're used to seeing at some of our shows, they either have some health issues or they have some family stuff going on. Our Hot Wheels guy, a big Hot Wheels guy, Leif, who doesn't get on Facebook much, he's working down in Miami. So now during the week, and so he just couldn't get up there, to sell. And then the other Hot Wheels guy, what happens is I know what certain people are going to bring basically. And then like, this particular guy, like we should have had at least, let's say 2 more Hot Wheels people than we had at the Jacksonville show yesterday. One guy, I love him, but he hasn't been to a show in a little while, but he pretty much sells Hot Wheels, and I know his setup. So he hasn't been to a show in maybe 6 months or more. Anyway, he showed up with all like a little bit of Hot Wheels and all these toys, like all these loose toys. Like, I'm like, what is this? And he goes, oh, I'm going to try something new. Well, he didn't tell me that he was trying something new. I just kind of plugged him in there. Okay, you're coming. Sure, I know what you sell. So there was some things like that also yesterday. But the main thing with Jacksonville is that we need to go find a new building. We need to find a new building up there, and I really think it's worth it. I hope we can get a little bit more connected to the other toy community up there. I mean, I guess if we don't, we don't. But I mean, I think we're all starting to get everybody that puts on shows. We get along pretty well, I think, right now. All right, somebody is bringing a lot of Hot Wheels. Cool. Ron Dilks. Oh yeah, right. Ron Dilks. He doesn't set up that often, but he's going to bring a lot of Hot Wheels to the Tampa Toy Con. So let me talk a little bit about this schedule. Okay, so we have Funko Orlando, and like I said, this may or may not be the last Funko that we do at the VFW, only because, again, a couple reasons. The Funko is not our bread and not our thing necessarily, but we wanted to offer it. Okay. And also really the setup over at the VFW is getting harder and harder. So it's like we get there and then we got to move tables around and all this. And it's not, it's not any VFW's fault or anything like that, but the Funko guys like to set up grid wall and all that stuff. And it's just, I don't know. I haven't said much, but I'm wanting to get our own building to where we can have smaller events there, but we're not there yet. And it's not going to be a store. I don't want to tell anybody that, but we're not planning on opening a store. I'm not interested in it, but at some point I'd like to have my own building. I may have heard me say that before. For events, so we can have events in a building. Okay. Small events like that. Tampa Toy Con. Okay. So want to talk about Tampa Toy Con, July 8th and 9th. This is a big deal to me, guys. Like you, all this stuff that you see me buying, like the Silver Surfer behind me, the Spider-Man, which I'm having worked on. I'm going to be working on R2. I'm going to be working on, I got like a bunch of stand-ups. I've got a guy that's working on, you probably saw my posting about the lid for the Batmobile. I've also got the Back to the Future DeLorean. here. Back to the Future DeLorean. I haven't turned it on, but he is that done. I mean, oh, you know what? Hang out for a second. I'm gonna go and grab something that I want to show you guys. 1 second. It's not a toy, but it is related. All right. Okay. So again, I'm talking about July 8th and 9th. I'm going to be basically, we're going to have dioramas. We're going to have Hot Wheels racing there. We're going to have the Hot Wheels racing there. We're going to have my Star Wars dioramas. We're going to have other stuff like the Batmobile thing. We're going to have Silver Surfer. I have a platform being built for him that's going to allow him to stand up on the surfboard. So you can take pictures in front of him with a backdrop and everything. And this is important because I've been working on Pixel Dan to come to the show for probably 1.5 years. Now, most of you guys, maybe some of you guys don't really know who Pixel Dan is. You should look him up on YouTube. He's one of the bigger YouTube toy YouTubers. Okay. And so the show is important to me because he's going to come and yes, he's going to be autographing his huge book. I mean, look how thick this thing is. This is a like encyclopedia of the Masters of the Universe. Probably should have flew Tom Cook in. Maybe I can still do that. All right. Anyway, but he's gonna be. He sent me some copies of this book. Okay, I think he's got like 30 or so. And he sells the book. I don't know how much it is. I'll be honest with you. I don't know how much it is, but he will be signing his book and talking to people. But the other thing that's important to me is I'm sure he's going to be doing a video of our show. Okay. And putting it out to his subscribers. I think he has like 300,000 subscribers somewhere in there neighborhood. So it is important to me to have the show featured in a way that shows off Florida and Florida shows. Not just Florida toy shows, but the vendors and stuff that people can find here. You don't think of Florida necessarily as a toy mecca, a toy thing, but and it was funny when I met him. I said, "When are you coming to the largest toy show in the South?" And by square footage, I meant, because Toyland is pretty big, but it's not big like as in square feet. It's a lot of little rooms and stuff. And but I mean, it is a great show. It has been a great show. I've been to that. That one's in March up there. But what I wanted to say was, come to our shows and, we have a lot of good stuff and come and check it out. And so he's going to probably, I assume, do a toy video of some kind where he's searching for toys, or he's going to feature the show or in some way that will be kind of permanently part of his channel. So that's something that we'll be able to share and something that's important for me to get. And really, I think, well, it's important to me to show the Florida toy market in the right way. So I'm going to be really doing things as much as I can, and I'm going to be bringing out the flag. I'm going to be spending a day probably before the show to set up. Originally, I wanted to have a auction, but I think I'm running out of time to do all that, to set that up. But anyway, so that is July 8th and 9th. So if you're going to come to any show on this schedule, okay, that is the one to come to. July 8th and 9th. I mean, we're going to have Pixel Dan. We may still have another guest. I had planned on having a voice actor, and they for Voltron or whatever, that just wasn't available. By the time I got back, I got back to his agent person, I wasn't able. So we may only have Pixel Dan right now, but We are also going to have a rep. We're going to have a rep from Raymond Toys, who's also going to have some custom toys. And again, we're going to have a lot of display stuff, and we're going to have, of course, we're going to have 150 tables of awesome stuff. Okay, so I'm filling the rest of it up now. I'll probably have my own space where I'm going to be bringing all my good stuff. You know, and hey, I'm gonna be making great deals, and then we'll have our giveaway pinball along with at least 3 other machines to play for free there, all the latest stuff. You know, maybe even a Toy Story, which I don't know if you guys have seen that or not, but anyway, so that is going to be at July 8th and 9th. Now let's talk about the next one there, July 23rd, Fort Lauderdale. You know, I mean, we love everybody down there in South Florida. We think it seems to be a market that's not, you know, being utilized as far as toys. That's, you know, I mean, going to give a shout out to my friend Irving doing UltraCon in August. I plan on being there and checking it out, but he's been running that like, I don't know, several years now, and it's definitely gotten better just since COVID. I think he's taken up even more space. I'm probably more, you know, I'm not trying to be the go big, or I mean, I like big stuff and I like doing cool stuff, but I'm a little bit more risk adverse. I'm fine with doing a consistent number, as you can see from my schedule. I'm more of a consistent guy. Like, we're gonna do one a month somewhere, and if it's not, you know, it's not gonna be crazy big, you know, as far as, you know, and again, part of that comes back to vendors. Part of that comes back to vendor availability and who we approve. You know, we don't want to have, you know, I try not to have like 10 people selling modern stuff, because one, you guys want to see a variety and I do too, and then the other thing is it's not going to sell. Like, you know, these vendors won't sell this stuff if there's 10 of the same vendor, and so, you know, or the same similar item. Okay, now if there's like 6, you know, Hot Wheels guys, they all have different stuff. Not everybody sells main lines. You know, some people sell, you know, red lines and black walls and you know, red line club and all that stuff. So that doesn't really matter. But I mean, like, you get people that are in, you know, even in the Funko market, there's people that sell the cheaper Funkos, and then there's people like Nick, who we haven't seen at a regular show in a while, from Pop Fandom. He's more of a higher end Funko guy. So, but what I'm saying is that, so it's just, we want to have sure, we would like to have a bigger show, but my business kind of thing, or my thought process is be a little bit more consistent and go to different places so that everybody gets a chance. You know, everybody we can reach right now gets an opportunity to come to a show that we put on, and in the way that we do it, where there's from my perspective, again, I'm not bashing anybody else's show. I'm just saying, like, I'm more about stuff and not necessarily about, you know, and that could be maybe I'm missing out on an experience or something. You know, I'm more about the actual items. Because, you know, I'm going to go back real quick. And when I started this, I went to Comic-Con. I'm not a comic person. I do have a few comics. My friend Jay and both my Jay Nelson and Jay Harvey have, you know, kind of educated me, and even other people like Mr. Cohen down in South Florida, and a couple other people have educated me on comics. But I've never been a comic person, never been into the whole, I've never been a cosplay person, none of that. I came from a different world, I guess. But I just didn't go to the shows. I was in a different thing. I collect more for nostalgia, as you can see, than than the fan of an item of a person. So I think there's just different types of collectors. But anyway, so we are going to be at the Broward Convention Center. Now I picked Sunday because to try to give us the best opportunity for the cheapest parking. Okay, because he couldn't tell me a parking price because it depends on what else is going on at the convention center that day. And right now, I think we're the only thing in town. But we have 10,000 square feet to start out with. That is our more than double. That's about double the size that we have in West Palm Beach. So we're going to have about 80 tables, 80 to somewhere around 80 tables of vendors, stuff. We have vendors coming from Jacksonville. We have vendors coming from all over the state. Okay, to come to Fort Lauderdale. We are going to be in a room right off the parking garage, so it's really cool. Everybody knows that lives in Florida in July. It rains in the afternoon. It could rain in any time there, right? And so that what's going to be great is that you're going to have a parking garage. You're going to be able to come out, go in with your stuff and be rain protected. And you're going to be able to come out after you bought stuff, whether it's comic books or toys or whatever, and you're not going to get rained on. It's going to be great. And it's going to be air conditioned and carpeted and all this. It's great. It's a great facility. And we're working on getting some great vendors. I'm about 60% full right now on vendor space. So if you know somebody down there or you want to be a vendor, down there, hit me up for the application link, and we'll get you signed up. I just need, in the application, you got to post photos of what you sell and some other things. So, and so that's important too. So right now, I think we have some Hot Wheels guys. We have some Star Wars guys. We got a couple of our regulars. Mark Moriarty will be there, according to him. We are going to be missing Leif Helms again on that because there's a Matchbox convention actually in Albuquerque that same weekend. So, but that is July 23rd. That's a late edition. Then we have our big show. That's our 2-day show. Now I am working on the finalizing the guest for that, which I'm going to be working on this week, and I'll be trying to finalizing the announcements. But I believe we're supposed to have Jake the Snake Roberts at that show, and then we're going to have some other guests, but I better wait to announce that. But the plan is to have Jake Roberts there. We just got to work out the transportation details and all the details on that. And then we're going to be giving away the pinball machine. I'm also going to maybe have some games there of my own because I live down the road. And then we're going to come up with some other stuff. We're probably going to have our bag giveaway. We're probably going to have our gift certificate thing where we give out vendor like random golden tickets in the bags, so that you can use that with any vendor to buy stuff that you want. So it's like kind of like you can use it as a discount, or you can use it. It's just show money basically. You just have to use it with a vendor that's in the thing. So we're gonna be doing that also, and then of course it's at the RP Funding Center, which is a beautiful venue with carpeted and great tables, easy parking. The parking is free. I've spent extra money. Me and the vendors really have spent extra money to make the parking free at RP Funding. That would cost you normally at least $10. Okay. So on a 2-day show, it would cost you even like maybe $15. Because if you go to the Central Florida Comic-Con, it's like $10 for the day or $15 for the weekend. We're there the whole weekend, and I've added it, I've added it to my bill, and we've added a couple bucks to the vendor costs on their end, and all vendors agree that they'd rather have free parking. I stress at all these venues to try to get as free parking as I can. We can't do anything about it at the fairgrounds The only way I could do it is if I had to mail them a parking pass and I could get it a little discount, but that's a mess. I don't have, we don't really, it's just a mess to do. And so, I mean, the fairgrounds parking is what it is. Pushing out to or Kissimmee, okay, because I'm talking about parking. I was told when I booked this that there's parking is going to be free for the October event. Free for the October again, and that's going to be in the same basic space as it was in March. Not the same vendors necessarily. There's going to be, because the room is semi-small, like it's small. I'm going to be a little more choosy about who's setting up there. But it's going to be in the same space. It's still going to be one day. The cost is going to be the same, but there's not going to be a parking fee. Okay. And so we are going to be making some changes next year on the shows. I'm just kind of, I think last year I thought the economy was, they raised interest rate, they did all these things, and I thought the economy was going to slow down. And I just felt like, hey, I'm going to play it safe, and we're going to do these more one-day shows. And so, but I think next year we're going to try to get back to doing some bigger things, and it's just about vendors. So if you guys know any great vendors that want to have stuff to sell, I'm always open to find new vendors. So and certainly new visitors too. But we're always trying to make the show better. Feel free to ask any questions or message me. I'll answer whatever you have. Okay. I think that's about it. We're going to be opening up Gainesville, and all of these shows are basically all, with the exception of the West Palm, is sold out. Sold out. All vendor space is sold out. And that was sold out in March or April. So, I mean, everybody, all the vendors love that space. They love that show. And hopefully you guys love coming to it. We're going to be there at least one more time. I got to set up dates for next year for that same location. But we're also trying to book something at the West Palm Fairgrounds. It would not be anywhere near UltraCon. It's more spring. I'll go ahead and say it. I mean, man, it takes a while for this lady to get back to me. I emailed her a month ago and she emailed me today. I think. Anyway, so, and that's one of the reasons why I went to the Broward Convention Center. They want me to bring events there. But we'll see how this one goes. We'll see how, yeah. And again, going back to the hotels are very expensive down there. And then they add all these crazy fees. So, it's just tough. It's tough to find a good building. All right, guys, I'll let you all go. We've been on here for a little while. I'm going to have another update here soon, but please watch for the raffle, or if you're interested in tickets, hit me up. Or just, at the show, we're going to have a big banner made, or we're giving it away. And again, and thank you for coming to all the shows, and I hope to see you there. Please, if you see me on video, if you see me at a show, reach out, say hello. And I'm always willing to talk to any of you guys about the shows or about what I have behind me or whatever. Enjoy your evening. Bye now.